Oh my gosh. Not gotten any audio. All right, you've got audio now. Oh, I did it again. Did it again. Ah, I'm such a muppet. I'm such a muppet. Oh well. God, I thought you'd do it once and then you'd always remember to do it every single time after that. But apparently I'm still a noob. Oh dear. uh, Fixed. Thanks for the prompt. Oh. Yeah. Damn it. Here I am trying to be all professional and everything. Forget to unmute my microphone again. I tell you what, I might just like not press that thing. Maybe I should put like a little thing on my screen that says unmute mic, like on the background, so I remember. Gonna have to sort that out. There must be some sort of like plugin or something like that for OBS that you can have to remind you to unmute the mic. Or maybe you can have it do it automatically, because the thing is I mute the mic when I do the loading screen and the intro bit. And then when I go into full screen camera, I need to unmute the mic automatically when I click it. Because otherwise I'm just going to forget things. I'm going to have to look into that. I'm going to make a note so that we can avoid this happening again in the future. Notes. Auto unmute mic on OBS when switching to any view with a camera. Okay. All right, it's on my list. Thanks, Caution. Okay, so what were we doing? We were trying to get this going. What's it complaining about? So it's complaining that loaded free placements. Yeah. I mean, what we're gonna do is search for it, and it's there, and then it's supposed to contain this as well, which it does. Oh right, I didn't change this one. Okay, we'll try that again. Check now. Right, okay, look, it passes. We're good. Righto. So obviously this is all hard coded at the moment, and this is probably in the wrong place. So let's move this. We've got placement, we've got a variant, everything's all fine. And here we're making one, and this is just temporary. So someone else is asking yes. Oh. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. I need a fan on. It's hot in here. It's going to be another scorcher of the day out here in Spain. Fan. There we go. Ceiling fan away. Hot. August is going to be good. Oh, hot. Right. Righto. Right. So, okay. So let's look at the command line arguments that we've got. So when we say build, we need to give it these things. So build has arguments, right? now I guess what we need is a variant. Oh, that's interesting. Because I can specify variant as a thing, and then I'm not sure about this. Okay. Because Clap is clever enough to map the things over from one to the other. Let's try it. We're gonna map directly to a variant. I'm not sure how this is gonna go. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. We're gonna say it's an argument, I suppose. Let's call it a Now the reason I'm not just calling it variant is because the short name of it is probably going to conflict with other things that we want, such as version and verbose. So now we can go AP. And it can also be a long argument. And yeah. Right. I guess what is going to be useful in a moment. Oh, you can't do this. Let's just go A. Well, variant. Now, at the moment, variant is sort of this structure down here, which, if we then start using this for clap, it means that we have to attach macro-related stuff to it. And then if we still want to use this assembly variant for other things other than just command line parsing, which we don't know that we need to do yet, then, but we will do in the future, then we might want to consider mapping between the two, which in this case is going to be trivial. We're going to, some duplication is okay, right? We're going to keep our command line arguments separate from our model data, I suppose, for want of a better word. So instead of using variant, we're going to call it variant args, like this. And we're going to paste this in here, and this is going to be variant args. Right? Now, probably fine. I can't remember what you're supposed to do with this. We need to do a derive thing on it, but what kind of derive do we do? Let's have a look at the clap documentation, because I don't remember. Clap derive. Here we go. Right. So, oh look, they've got variants in here as well. Right, struct. This is sort of what we're doing. Derive args. That's what we want. And I'm just going to put this here. Because I want to see where it comes out when we try and do the help. Arg attribute. Okay, so is it really? No, it's just an arg. No? Just an arc. It's not another command. It's just going to be an arc. These things. Yeah, okay. But it's like, okay. We don't want a short one, I don't think. Oh. Not really sure how we're going to do this yet. Because we want name equals, refdes list equals, which is fine for now. It's not ideal going on because the command line might get a bit wordy, but there's solutions to fix this problem, which is such as creating a script which contains all the command line arguments that you want in the script and then putting each one on a separate line, and then it's absolutely fine. So I'm not too worried about this. Let's put in also value name variant this. Now I've done a lot of stuff in order to satisfy one test. It's going to have broken another one. And I don't really know what the expected output of this is going to be because it's down to clap to actually produce it. So we're going to fiddle around with it and do it sort of like in this sort of like, is it right? No. Is it right? Yes. Okay. Once you get it right, this is going to be one of those things where we document what was right in the form of a test, which is the about the help test. So we're going to run all the tests again now and see if it even compiles. But in order to do that, we're going to have to compile this first. Let's try that. Yeah. In the Discord, Raven says streaming is one of those things that looks easy, but it's a pain in the ass. It's not. Yeah, it's there's a lot to it. Over the course of the last week or so, I've had to learn so much stuff that I never thought I'd need to learn how to know. Wait, one of those things. Moving on. Well, I wasn't expecting that. You can't clone it, you see. And this is one of the reasons I'm happy that it's come up with an error here now. Actually, after duplicating it from the variant, because the variant is one thing, and clap wants you to do things a certain way, and you don't want clap's certain way of wanting to do things to impact with your model. So this is great because it wants me to derive clone on here, but I don't necessarily need to define clone on my variant because I'm probably never going to clone it, right? So I'm not sure why it wants that, but there's clearly an internal thing it needs it for. So we're just going to go with it for now, and then if we can remove it later, we can try that. Right. Method value parser exists for M, but its trait bounds were not satisfied. I don't know. Yeah. Oh, this is going to be fun to try and decipher. Yeah, so it's saying that this argument doesn't know how to turn this. I mean, is it really arg? That's my first thought. Yeah. So let's go back to the documentation and see if there's another example of this. So the thing with macros is that they're not as easy to understand how you're supposed to use the macros all together, because they can do all kinds of weird things. Macros can. So I find them more opaque. So is it a command? Is it a command? Is it args? What is this thing? What is it? I mean, parse a subcommand into defined enum. It's not an enum. Implementing this trait lets the parent container delegate the subcommand behavior itself with these things. Command flan can only be used with enum variants. Command subcommand can be used with either struct fields or enum variants that implement subcommand. Okay. Args. I think this is what we want, because these variant args we want to get merged into the parent container, which is this, right? So I think that is what we want here. And I think that's supposed to go here. Let's see if that was right. I mean, okay, right. So now we have this assembly variant, right? Okay, this is good. That is apparently what you do. Okay, good. So we've got our variant here, and we're probably going to pass all this information off to something else. And we've got our args, and we've got our variant, and they're two separate things at the moment. So let's just build in the conversion somewhere. So let's say variant. Okay, we're just going to comment this out now because it's garbage. Let variant args dot build variant, and it might fail, I suppose, if you don't have all of the things that you need, even though the args parsing should probably ideally prevent that. It's It's probably okay. Variant. Oh no, what I'm doing. Assembly variant. Yeah. This is, I guess. Really, this isn't really this, is it? This is. Well, I suppose it is. I suppose it is. It's fine. Assembly variant. Okay. Yeah, we know it's got args in it. Yeah, okay. All right. Okay, fine. So we don't have this build variant. So we'll correct that. Assembly variant. Who thinks this is a good idea or not? Why? Oh, yes, because we called it variant, haven't we? Okay, fine. That's better. Right, now we can add the missing fields. Fine. And everything's fine. Now, I'm kind of curious as to what clap uses for, like, its arguments, whether it uses references to strings, whether it uses actual strings. I'd kind of want to see some examples of what people do. Let's see if we can find someone using a string. Yeah, string. It's not in a clap derive. No, we need to see the clap derive. Clap derive. Here we go. Let's. Okay. So derive, escape position. What's this all about? So they're using string like this, and they're using string. So we're going to carry on doing that. And this is going to be self.name, which is already a string. And then this is going to be, we can clone strings, which is fine. Self.refdeslist.clone. But does it clone all the elements in the vector, or does it just clone the vector itself with new things pointing to the same bits of memory? That's what I'm wondering. What does it do? Huh. Common trait implementations. Well, I kind of want to know, but let's focus on the other stuff for now. It's probably sufficient to get us going. Right. Right, and of course, this is supposed to be a result of something that could fail. And here, we're just going to go some. In the future, there might be cases where it might fail. Not some, that's an option. Okay, there we go. Everything's fine. Stood error is not implemented by this. What can we do? Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, you can do this weird thing. There's a couple of ways of doing this. I mean, do we want to do this? Error handling. Do we want to add something which because I don't want to add anyhow into the build variant thing. Okay, we could. Okay, let's do this. Let's do this more right than we're currently doing it. I can't find my code. Where's my code gone? Structure. I need my structure. God damn it, where's my structure? What's it doing over here? That's what I want. Build variant, that's what I want. All right. Okay, so we've got this error type. Let's go assembly variant error, and let's make an enum for assembly variant error, and where one of the things is fail, because we don't know why it can fail yet. So we're just going to say it fails, right? So fine. Let's set unknown error, or just unknown, because we've already got error in the thing. Yeah. Stood error is not implemented with this, which is required. So you can implement this thing. You can implement from and whatever for this thing. So we've got this build variant, we've got our assembly error. So you can apparently go impl from assembly variant error or anyhow error. Is this right? Okay. And then got to return a self. Is this how you're supposed to do this? Yeah, this because you've got anyhow, and then there's this other error thing which allows you to easily create all the different things which allow you to go to the different error thingy. Let's look at the documentation for anyhow Rust, because I remember seeing it yesterday, I think, which says you can use something else to do it. This error, this was it. It's this format error thing. Yeah, that's right. And this is what provides the implementation of the different types of things. Right. Otherwise, you can return one-off error messages. It's not really a, yeah, okay. So we're just going to do the simple one for now, which I think we go match value, and if it's an unknown error, then we go anyhow unknown error. I think. Okay, so this is a way of doing it without using this error thing and then using the macros on this error. This error is probably something that we want to use, to be fair. Pretty sure this is widely used, this thing is. Right? Like everybody uses this. The community has decided that this is the way you do error handling. So let's just do it. More dependencies. Let's go. So we're going to not do this, even though it compiles. We're going to go this error. We're going to say the latest version, and we're going to say it's optional, and we're going to say it's true. And we're going to say... Right. Because only our CLI tool needs it at the moment, so that's why it's optional. So we've got that now. So fine. So how are we supposed to do it? Let's look at the anyhow documentation for a moment. And then just let's copy this into the IDE and comment it out so we can reference it. Fine. So this is our error thing, and these are the macro things that we need to do. I'm not sure about this deriving debug on it yet. Yeah, that's right. Are we going to say... unknown error like this? We're going to do that instead of this. Let's see if it compiles. This one. Okay. It compiles. It runs. Okay, that's good. So that's what we're going to do. And look, there's less code. That's quite nice, isn't it? We like that. Yeah, error handling. Fantastic. All right, where do we get to? So it might fail, and we can convert the errors to it. What were we trying to do? We were trying to create it, we were trying to build it, and then we ended up with an assembly variant. And we don't need any of this anymore. That's dead. Right. But now our test is going to fail because we don't have the arguments that we said we want to specify. But I'm not entirely sure how we're supposed to specify those arguments because I probably made some mistakes when I defined the definition of the arguments. So we're going to run all of these tests like so. Right, one of them is gonna fail. The one that I expected to fail didn't fail. Oh wait, yeah, why is that? Because we said when there's no arguments. Oh, it's because we don't have a test for the help for the build subcommand. Let's make a test for that, so that we can see what it's supposed to look like. So that we don't have to remember how to run the command every time. I could sit there and, run the command all the time. But it's probably better if we do a test. Right, so we'll follow the pattern of copy, paste, comment out. Copy, paste, comment out. If you don't do that, you end up leaving things in. Not what we want. So this is build sub command build. Okay, let's see. I don't really want to build help. Build sub command help. Right, so given a command, that's all fine, and create some expected output. I don't know what this expected output is going to be yet, so we're going to just say that it's empty. Yeah, but delete all this. There we go. We probably know about these things already. So when we run the command, we assert that it is success, probably, and standard out, because we're going to say help, because we need some args, which is going to be build. No, I mean, we can see that here, build, and then some quotes might be an idea, don't you think? I think it might be. Now, I think it comes in standard out, but I don't know. Well, it compiled, so that's good. Right, build subcommand help. So this is what we got after adding our placements and variant name and so on. And we can look at this and go, well, is that what we want? And then poke it around a bit. So this is what it printed out. So you have to go build with some options, and then you say, here's my placements file, and here's my name. But interestingly, name seems to be required, but refdes list is not required. Is that because it's a vector and vectors are allowed to be empty? Because normally you have to say required, yes, no. Right? Let's have a look. Because there's no required, not required. Now, I did say earlier that an assembly could contain all of the placements. Like this is normally what happens when you design a PCB. You populate every single part that you put on the PCB. And it's only in odd situations where you don't put the parts on. But in practice, it's probably actually the other way around, that it's more common. But makers are going to be designing PCBs where every single part goes on it. And then they might do another version later on with like some extra components for testing, or, getting fancy with their assembly variants. So it feels like that is okay to not specify any reference designators. And then at some point, we add handling to say that if the refdes list is empty, then it means include all of the parts. It doesn't feel like too much of a stretch to do that. Unless we said you must specify dash dash all ref all parts or something. We can think about it. We don't need to answer it right now. If the ref des list is empty. I mean, because you don't know what the list of reference designators are for the assembly until you've read the placements file in, right? So there's no way of populating them all auto-magically, unless when you say build an assembly variant from an arguments and a placement list, it populates the ref des list from the list of placements auto-magically, so that then all subsequent processing is identical. So and this is interesting, so our build variant, for instance, could indeed take placements as an argument and add all the reference designators from the placements argument that was supplied to the ref des list for the assembly variant. Yes, then probably there wouldn't be any special handling that you would need to do for an assembly variant, because all handling would be the same. There'd be less logic in later stages of this. Interesting. But we can make it nice for the user. It's kind of like when I displayed that dip trace UI the other day. I don't know if you remember this. We're gonna go open in Explorer, and we're gonna say load up. It's kind of like this situation where if you haven't got any assembly variants, when you create your first one, well, the first one is default it had, which is where everything was ticked. This thing. So you can't untick the default ones, right? So that, to me, feels very similar to what we're building in the CLI here, where we've got this thing and it's optional and it should just include everything and it is the default. And perhaps if you didn't specify the name, that should also have a default of default, perhaps. That sort of feels like a good idea actually right now. Variant builder. Yeah, okay. Let's think about that. Okay. Default arguments. Default values rather. Yeah. Flap. Derive. Let's do a Google for this one, because I don't know where it's going to be. Clap derive default argument, default values, default argument value. Yeah, someone else has searched for it. That's good. Oh, I see. There is a way of doing it. Oh, right, yes. Yes, because you can implement. In Rust, there's this concept of default. There's a trait called default. So how about we go impl default for variant args. Okay. And the way that it works is you go cell and you say name, and we go default like this. And we go ref des list is just an empty vector, right? I'm so glad at this point that I split up the arguments from the actual definition of a variant. I was so right to do this. I saw it coming a mile away. Right, so let's see what it says now. It didn't use it automatically. Okay, so let's go back to the clap documentation and see if we can work out how to make it use default value. Oh, I've got derive default value. Someone else is asking how you do it. Default values T. Let's see if we can find the clap derive. Can we do a search? Yeah. Value the argument when not present. Huh? What's the difference between these two? Default values underscore T. Let's see. This is default value as opposed to default values. Right, magic attributes are processing whether that is blah blah blah. Yeah. Oh, default, right? Okay. Here we are. What? Magic attributes. Arg attributes. Default. Without expression relies on default. Default. No, this isn't. Okay, maybe it's right. Default value. Let's try it, because I'm not sure from the documentation whether this is what I'm supposed to do here. I'm not sure I built the right thing then. Let's just try running it like this. Okay, it built. And then we run the test. And then we'll go have a look. Yeah, it's got, Well, it's not picking this up from anywhere, is it? Okay, probably failing to understand what this is. Like, what's the difference between these two? Let's see what this says. Value for the argument when not present. If the user does not use this argument to runtime, return true. What? In default values, what's the difference? It's not kind of what I'm looking for. Okay, for the sake of moving on, we're going to just do this. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Okay, let's see how we got here. There may be a way of making that work, but there we go. So, you know, we've got this. Seems reasonable. Seems reasonable. Okay, so this is sort of getting more like what we actually want right now. Oh yeah. So we can do the whole copy paste thing, where we say what we want is, let me look at how we did the previous one. It started on the first line, so that goes here, and then all this goes in a bit, and this goes out a bit, and then that's what we want forevermore. Okay. Fine. So now we know what arguments we've actually got and built and told Clap to do and told it how to format them and everything like this. We can use these values, these things, in our other test. So we need to specify name and refdes list arguments. Name, and whatever. So we don't need to specify this because we can just have default. But we are going to specify it because I think it'll make this more useful. So args, placements. Then we go name is going to be variant 1, isn't it? Yes, because that's what we said. And the refdes list. Oh, hold on a moment. Refdes list. Okay, good. We're good. I don't know how you specify a list of things on the command line. I guess we'll find out. Yeah, don't know. I don't know. Well, let's see what it did. Well, I mean, that looks like it worked. Okay, so we said it's supposed to contain loaded 3 placements. And it actually contained loaded 3 placements. And it's supposed to contain this. And it actually contained this. But the right. So probably what I'm doing is that it processed those as one thing. Because there's no white space between it. How to specify a list of things. Let's search for vector. I wasn't expecting that. Huh. Really? I mean, that's interesting, I suppose. Well, I guess let's look at the tutorial. Enumerated values? No. Argument relations, validated values. Have a look. How do you specify it? Options? Yeah, no. Flags? Not flags. Subcommands? Not really subcommands. Not defaults. No. No, that's not helpful. Validation. No, I'm not doing validation. I just want to know how to specify multiple arguments. Do we have to do our own manual parsing? That doesn't seem right. Okay. Clap vec of strings. Yeah, fine. So, you know, you can do it, but how do you do it? Value delimiter equals comma. Oh, that's interesting. Let's have a look at that in the documentation. Missed that, didn't we? Didn't see that. So this is... I'm still struggling to find my way around the clap derived documentation. Macros arg, I suppose. And then let's perhaps... No, you see it's not there. Arg. Traits. Args. See, now we're on derive again. And we go arg and it goes back to clap. It's like, no. Arg attributes. Perhaps it's here. And let's go delimiter. No. Let's search the entire documentation for it. Delimiter. And, you know, I end up in API land again rather than macro land. You know, I'm looking at arg group. It's not an arg group. It's an arg. It's an arg. Definitely an arg. Bear in args. Look, it's an arg, right? So there's going to be some attribute that goes here. So I'm looking in the documentation for arg attributes. But someone says value delimiter equals whatever. But I don't see this as like I don't see it in the derived documentation. Let's just gonna see what happens. Value delimiter equals a comma. You see, this is the problem with macros. It's like you can't navigate around the implementations of them, so you don't know what you're supposed to be doing. Because this is what I want, right? So clearly we want to be using this value delimiter. But the question is, how do I specify that? Right? I mean, let's look at this. I've got default value here as an argument attribute, right? Default value. Over on the left here, arg, methods, default value. Right? So then I'm like, argument, this is another attribute, value delimiter. Value delimiter. Still in the list of things that you can do with an arg. Value delimiter. So, yeah. Is there a magic way of specifying it? Derived. They're not. I mean, to be fair, it's the same in other languages as well. It's actually, in Java, annotations, you can actually, in your IDE, you can actually click on the attributes of an annotation and it takes you to the source code that defines the annotation. And annotations in Java are a bit like macro arguments. But at least it's still better than C. you never find it. Still, we're not finding it here either. Yeah. Oh, use value delimiters deprecated. Okay. That's... someone said... use value delimiter equals true. But how do you specify value delimiter? You go... why is it? Not expecting that. What? You have to go num args is 1 dot dot. Right. I mean, we can try it because maybe it needs both of these things in order for it to work, but... we can try it. I mean, we haven't got anything to lose, have we? Building, build. Like... okay, so you can do that, but... let's just put a semicolon there just to see if there's some weird parsing error. No. Let's put the stupid use value delimiter thing. No. See? Just got no idea. No idea. Does the order of these things in the macro make any difference? No. Into resettable required by this bound. I mean, arg value delimiter. Cut builder. This is where it's moaning. So I suppose we could search this for value delimiter in the directory that I picked. No. In the directory that I picked, I want to search from here, please. Okay, let's try searching from here. Okay, that works. Let's see if we can make head or tail of this. Specifies the number of arguments parsed per occurrence. And this is this num args thing. Okay, let's have a look at this. Which is fine. User may specify values for arguments in any of the following methods. Using a space, using an equals, using short and no space. Fine. So my expectation of how it's going to work is wrong. we're just going to ignore value delimiter entirely. And we are going to go and change the test so that it's got space there. Because I think that might be what you're supposed to be doing. After reading this. Fine. Fine. And then we go this one. We know that this is going to fail. What is it? What changed here? Oh, it's got ... on the end of it. That was interesting. Okay, but let's see if it works first before we go back to that test and fix it. So no, it still treated it as one thing. Oh, wait. No. Oh, I see. Let me go back to that, and maybe I'm supposed to do it like this. I might need to reread that documentation because I wasn't sure about the placement of the equals sign. Let's have a look. Oh. Unexpected argument. Yeah, no. Okay, let's reread this documentation. It says arg value delimiter. Allow grouping of multiple arg. Yeah, this is what I want to do. This is what I want. But how do I do it? Let's just bring this up, put it here. And close these. I'm not going mad. This is what I want. This is what I want. Right? We say it's an arg. And it's a vector of strings here. How do I specify it? How do we specify it? Okay. Let's search once more for value delimiter and see if we can find some code that lives in macro land. Parser, arg. We've got clap builder, we've got clap derive. Let's search clap derive for value delimiter. Fantastic. Okay. Why is there no support in clap derive for delimiter? I mean, maybe there is. Maybe I'm misunderstanding the code layout. Yeah, you're never going to know. Because it's going to look for things that have an implementation for it. Not going to be easy to find the code. Arg. Quote. See, arg parser, value parser. Oh dear. So you've got this num args, blah blah. Still not finding it there. Surely there's got to be an example of someone using it somewhere on the internet. Surely. I can't be the first person to want to do this in the history of the internet. See, why has it got clap here? I mean, this 2022. It's too old. It's not how you do it anymore. (2022). I mean, you can do it if you build the arguments on the command line without using derive, but we're using derive specifically. That's what I want to do. See? Let's search. Let's search the repositories issues. We're on clap issues value delimiter. Yeah, this is what I want to do. Four, 5, 2. What am I missing here? What am I missing? Let's go back and look at the... Get rid of this. Bring up the structure. Bring up the variant args. Let's just go... What am I missing here? Value delimiter this. Instead of what we had, we're going to do what someone else is saying is apparently right. And it's not a long. Oh yeah, it is long. Required false. Value delimiter comma. What? That compiled. That compiled. That compiled. That. What? We did this earlier. Okay. I'm looking at the things we tried. Oh, it's using single quotes. What the fuck? I need a button on my Scream Deck that just goes what the fuck like this. I'm going to have to set that up at some point. That was a what the fuck moment. That was. Look, you see this. You have to use a character. You can't use a string. And it's not in the documentation. At least not anywhere I could find it. And I searched for it. Okay, fine. Moving on. Moving on. Moving on. Right, so if you specify it, technically you want 0 or more, I guess. We're going to try this. We're going to see if that works. Okay. Right. Great. I'm going to move this num args thing like this, because the way that this is like next to this thing is sort of weird, and it hurts my brain a little bit. I don't find it as readable as, say, that. Right. Oh my god, it passed. That's good. Right, so now we can go back and look at what the differences were. The bit that we're interested in is the placement's name, refdes list, and help, because they're all going to be indented a little bit now. Placement's name, refdes list, and help. Okay, and what happened is that it got brackets put around it and dots on the end, and on the indentation of all the other things changed as a result. That is acceptable to me. But as long as you review it, copying and pasting it in is fine. If you just blindly copy and paste output from the executed code into your test code without reviewing it, bad. The diff thing on that on this predicate thing is actually quite nice for making the review a little bit easier. We liked it. It was good. Oh my god, test pass. Look at this. We can define an assembly bearing with ref daisies and everything. Amazing. 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 I'm shocked. I'm shocked. I'm so shocked. I don't even know what to do with myself. I'm so shocked it works. Okay, cool. You know, great. Let's do a commit. How long did that take? 2 hours, more or less. Not bad. We learnt stuff. We fought things. Do you know what? I'm gonna add a to-do in here, in the same vein as this. I'm just gonna keep the formatting of my to-do the same, and at some point, I'll feed back to the projects, with my thoughts regarding said missing documentation. So this is where we had the problem. 4 issues with clap. Unable to find clap derive documentation for, and then whatever the thing was. Variant args, it was value delimiter. This. Or value delimiter. A big gotcha was that it's not possible to use a string for the delimiter, and only a character is acceptable, i.e. use single quotes around a character. And if you don't do that, there was an error message which didn't help you find the source of the problem. Let's put the double quotes back so that we can see what that error message was for a moment. Because this is the error message. You get the trait into resettable char is not implemented for stir. Which, now that I look at it, does help you a little. Interesting. Yeah. It actually does help you. I was just failing to read the error. Failing to read the error message. I mean, I suppose if I looked at that a little bit more, I might have saved myself a little bit of pain. Still, the documentation isn't there. Let's go back to where we were just putting it. The error was fine. Okay, cool. Fine. Everything's fine. We're gonna run that. We're gonna run the tests again. Make sure everything works. Okay. And then we're gonna go back and look at these warnings. Processing result never, yeah, that's fine. Social function news never used, yeah, no, that's fine. The process never used, that's fine. Criteria, these are all our unused import. Yeah, okay. We don't do that anymore. Unknown is never constructed. I mean, we have to put it there because we've got to define it in the type, and then you need all the rest of it in order to make it work. So I think you have to go allow dead code. Name a value when you ever use. Yes, that's fine, but it will be soon. And the placement ref is never. That's fine. These are all fine. This is all completely and utterly fine. But do variant builder. Right, let's do a commit. What are we doing here? We're going allow specification of an assembly variant on the command line. That's probably what we've done. Okay, let's see. So we defined an assembly variant, which is completely separate from all our argument processing, which is great. Flying Tarot's here. Hi, Flying Tarot. Right, so we defined that. Then we defined our arguments for that, which required a whole bunch of extra stuff. Let's clean this up a little bit. List of reference designators, name of variant, variant args. Let's have a quick look for that for a second, because it might be variant args, you see. That doesn't appear, because remember earlier I was saying I'm going to put this dot comment here to see if it appears in the output. It does not. Interesting. Okay, let's go back to variant args for a moment and then decide whether we want it, whether this has any merit, knowing that it doesn't appear in the output. It doesn't have any merit because the name of the structure is called variant args. So we delete it. We're gonna delete it. Delete it. No, it's bad. Right. Okay. Carrying on with the review. So we got to here. So we've got a list. We said what we're going to do is provide useful default behavior instead of having to deal with a case where the arguments aren't specified. Special handling for it. Assembly variant errors, that's fine. Building stuff, that's fine. Assembly variant, that's fine. Does this appear anywhere? I don't think it did. Build variant. Name of variant. We could improve this a little bit. I want to say assembly variant here. So that means going back to this and going name of assembly variant here. And then we had this, but this doesn't appear anywhere. And it has no value because it's the same as this. So we're going to delete it. Less to maintain. And then we're going to build the command line thingy. Then we're going to run all the tests again. Happy days. Righto. Right, reviewing commit. Right, so we got rid of that. Assembly variant, that's our structure, which is what we want to actually use later. And then we say when we build it, we get an assembly variant, and then we use the assembly variant to print out some messages, which is good. And then our build tests, oh, it got moved up. What I'm going to do is put this back where it was for now. I'll come to why in a moment. Right. Build subcommand. I was gonna say it should make the diff easy to read, but it's stupid thing that hasn't realised that big chunk is the same. Okay, let's see if it's worked it out this time. No. Do we think that if we say help or build subcommand, do we think the diff is going to be no? I think this is better though. Let's look at the other one. Yeah, I think it's better. Because we're explicitly going help. See? Yeah, okay. Right, relocating that wasn't particularly helpful in terms of reviewing the diff, so we're going to put it back where it was at the top for the reasons I mentioned earlier. We're going to get rid of that bit of white space. Quick white space review. So build for subcommand. Expected output, yes. Report issues with clap, yes. All the stuff. Yeah, no, that all looks good. That all looks good. Cargo's got this error on there now in the log file. What other things got added to this? That's fine. And that's fine. Right, cool. Commit. Jobs are good. Let's push it. Yeah, that's the reporting of the other thing, the extra to do that we had before. Push. Anyway. Okay. Right. What time are we at? 11 o'clock. Couple of hours. I think I'm wondering whether to call it there or do a little bit of refactoring. Refactor now, refactor later. Let's refactor a little bit now. Let's see if we can extract all of this into a method. Refactor extract method. Build assembly variant. Okay, that was good. Okay, good. Now look at this. Main. Build, okay. Much better. You can see what it's trying to do. Okay, let's run it. See if it compiles. Ah, you see, I knew it. They knew it. Build assembly variant. Now, error. This error. It's this type of error that I think we want. I have to go back and look at the type if it wasn't that. Okay, so we can build. And we can run other things against. That's good. Right. So we've got this over here in our little bin thing. And currently it's living in a binary. I don't like that. It shouldn't live in a binary. It shouldn't live in a binary. Because, you know, the binary is for process, for dealing with like command line arguments and all this kind of stuff, right? But the notion of building an assembly variant, yeah, okay, well, it's going to have some impact, specifically with the print lines and the reporting and all this kind of stuff. The notion of building assembly variants, it should be the same if you've got a GUI app or you've got a CLI app. You should still be able to do it. Now, Now the question is, well, should still be able to do it. My hesitation is because I know what I'm going to have to do is ask the user questions about their choices, because we want to use this inquire thing. And the inquire thing is specifically command line. And the same thing doesn't fit if you've got a GUI app. You want to be able to resolve assembly variant questions in both things. So for instance, if you've got a situation where there are two parts which can work for a given refdes, you need to ask the user which one do you want to use? And the default for which could be based on what is currently in the pick and place machine already, right? But you still have to ask the user if that's the one you want. And we need to do this ask the user thing both on the command line as well as in any GUI that we might have. Resolving questions. I mean, you could have a CLI question revolve thingy, and that would live there. And I guess when you try to build an assembly variant, you could pass it a resolver, and then that would use the command line tools, dependencies, that kind of stuff. So let's pull this out now, and it'll force us to write this properly. Pull it out. So there should be nothing in here which has dependencies on things that we don't want outside of the CLI app, ideally. So CSV parsing, that's going to be the same, but no argument parsing. Variant args, variant args, variant args. Oh, wait a second. No, wait a second. Okay, no. This is still CLI processing thing. It's the next bit that's the bit that should be pulled out. Like using the variant and using the placements. This is still all CLI stuff. Okay, fine. Fine. We do want an assembly variant builder that's somewhere else. Okay, let's refactor this a little bit though. We can still do this. So we've got our variant and we've got our placements. Control Shift. No, that scrolls the view. This one, that's it, right? So we've got placements. We've got this. Cool. So if we say variant builder build right, and we pass it the placements and we pass it the variant. Let's rename this to assembly variant. Why? Oh yeah, okay. Variant args. That's fine. Right, fine. And now we can try that again. Okay, fine. And then we cancel this. There we go. Okay. Right, now that forces us to have this thing. And that thing should probably live somewhere over here. We already wrote it the other day. Yeah, that's all right. I remember now. Okay, let's There's so much stuff you forget what you're even doing. New. This should probably be an associated method at the moment. Well, how do we use it before? We got this process method. Yeah. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, we did this. Yeah, that's right. Assembly variant processor is one of these. Right. It's not public. Okay. Now we should be able to import it. There we go. Look. Oh, this is good. And then we get a result. And we've got placements and an assembly variant. Look at that. I even had the arguments in the same order. Fantastic. It's a vector of reference to placements. You see, now our argument types aren't entirely correct. Oh, yeah. Okay, let me go back to this variant. That's the one we should be using. Duh. Okay, so it's the same. So let's fix the name of this stuff. Yeah, good. I'm glad I started doing this now. We've got this variant, and it's this one, and this is taking the wrong one. So let's rename this here now to assembly variant, like this, right? And then go back to this, and then find this one and delete it. Right. And then we can import this assembly variant from here. Hopefully. There we go. The refdes list. In here it's got variant refdes list. But I don't think we need that. Right. And these aren't public. So we need to make them public. Now, I could create a new method there instead of making them public. That's an option. Let's do that. Oh, we've already got a new here. So let's use the new. Now, arguably, it might be more clear to keep the names in and keep it public. Got a variant args. I'm thinking that this should also be called assembly variant. Okay. Maybe build assembly variant. Assembly variant error, assembly variant, build assembly variant args. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so now where are we at? Assembly variant refdex list. Now, yeah, you see it's not public, but we want to print stuff out from it. Okay, so yeah. I don't want to have like getters and stuff like that for it. Allow people to modify things from outside. I mean, it's not mutable. If it was public and mutable, I might be hesitating a little bit more. Yeah, okay. So back to where we were over here. New methods. See, I'm not sure whether there's much value in this new method if the things are public. Right. So the name, so this is okay now. Right, so now, but now it's bitching about the placements because this list of placements is a vector of placements. But the assembly processor wants a vector of reference to placements. And I'm not sure that that decision was correct in the first place. I have a feeling that we should be using a vector of boxed placements. Now, I've been doing loads of embedded stuff, so I've been using references and lifetimes and stuff like this all over the place for ages. To avoid copying things here, there, and all this kind of stuff instead of moving things, all this kind of stuff. Because you don't want lots of like random mem copies of slowing your system down. But for what we're doing, CLI processing, you know, that only happens once every, well, very, very infrequently, as opposed to being sort of the inner core loop of some embedded thing that runs millions of times, thousands of times a second. You know, we don't necessarily need to use references everywhere, and it might make our lives a little bit easier. So let's have a think about this. Okay, let's try just taking the lifetimes and the references out of this. And we're going to see what impact that has. Processing result, new placement, self processing result. Oh yeah. Yeah, and that has an impact on this. I'm fine with a bit of copying. I'm fine with it. We'll just use copy and clone and stuff a little bit more than we were otherwise. So no references here. Now, what's going to happen now is that we've caused a problem for this bit of code here. Because these things have now moved into this. Now, we could rearrange this test and all the things in it, or we could slap copies on all of these or clones on all of these, right? But maybe so you still can't get a reference to something once you've moved it. Processing result. We could define the variant placements to still have references so that we avoid copying them, and then reference the object, reference the placements that are in the vector by their positions in the vector. Let's try that. We're going to undo a little bit. We're going to put the lifetime back on this. So I think that is still more correct. We're going to need this lifetime back on it. It's going to be interesting. I'm not sure what's going to happen here. Processing result. Oh, I needed to undo a bit more. Yeah. We'll see how it pans out. Right, so this is no. So we're going to go all placements, bracket. Oh, hold on. We can do this. All placement bracket. But the problem is we need to go -1 on it, which is fine for now, just for testing. Everything's fine. Okay. All placements. Oh yeah, we've got to remove these. Right, yeah, okay, right. That's what I thought. I thought that was weird. It was because I hadn't changed the definition of the placement straight away. So we're going to do that, and now we've got a vector of placement references. Vector of references to placements. Then we've got one error down here. We've got placement 1. Which is probably okay. And we're going to run the test and see if anything compiles. Clone is not satisfied on placement. Yeah. Because we said we're going to copy it now. Derive clone. A value of type whatever. Variant placements. Right, so we need to go filter map. No, we do it a different way. Probably makes sense to go like this. This placement is a thing, and we've got to return a reference to it. Maybe that works. Oh. The reference is owned by the process thing, and then the reference is going to escape the process method. Can we go placement dot? We're looking for something that yeah. Okay, let's try that. Yeah, because it is borrowed. All placements. Yeah, it is. Let's yeah, so we've got a yeah. Yeah, see, we're just going to make our lives easier. We're just going to make our lives easier for now. We're just going to copy things as we were. Yeah. We're just going to copy things. We're on a desktop machine, not constrained by memory. We've got a fast CPU. So all placements is this, and then now I'm not sure what's going to happen when we do this. We might need to go copy, but it might do it implicitly. We've already. Yeah, we don't need to do this anymore. Mismatch times. Oh, yeah, well, that would help, wouldn't it? Right. And then we put the cloned back on. Fine. So we can't do that, so we just go clone on each one of these. And it's now immediately clear that we are doing lots of copying, which is fine, I suppose. Which is fine. Right. So apparently that builds. Right. We haven't got this building yet. Oh, that was the wrong one. This one. Here we go, mismatched types. So this placements here, what are we dealing with? Placements here is a vector of placements, and the processor wants assembly placement family. Right. So it's dealing with the wrong placement implementation. So we delete this one. And we need to use the one from our mod, which is here. Put the cursor in the right place. No. No, it's here. Probably need to rearrange some things here. Let me sort these alphabetically, and that's going to be easier for me to locate things. Placement. But it hides the fact that things are probably in the wrong order. And yeah. Right, that's fine. Now we can import it, yeah. And then these are private. We're going to make them public. And the type of processing result is private, which definitely should not be private. It should be public. Okay, good, cool. Now, we've done a bit of refactoring. We're using our actual implementation of a thing. That thing actually gives us a result, but we're not using this result yet. So I feel like we should just do the simplest thing we can do and just make sure that assert that the result is okay. So let's put a question mark on here. That's probably the simplest thing we can do to make the test still pass. I mean, it would, or at least fail if it didn't pass, that is. Stood error, it's not satisfied. Right, so this processing result, this is good. This processing result gives us this now. So now we can go processing error. Right. And we can define an enum, which is going to need to be public, of processing errors. And here we can define the errors a bit better. Okay, let's look and see what we've got here. So expected result was okay. No placements error. You see, now we can define our errors, and we have sort of like a better understanding of how we're supposed to do errors. So we can go processing error, no placements. Okay. And then for the next one, we're going to say Now, this is a funny one because yeah, we're going to come back to that one. We're going to come back to that one tomorrow. The refdes list in the assembly variant should never be empty. The way we're currently building the the assembly variant in our command line tool is such that the builder allows it to be built in an inconsistent state from what the processor needs to use. Let's add a to-do on this with what my thoughts were before. So we're going to go, oh shit, what happened there? What? Why did it do that? Variant builder. Did I not put the cursor in the right place? Oh, it's this stupid thing where I click the line where I'm going to type in. Did you see what I'm doing here? Look. I put my cursor, I clicked here, right, on this new bit, because that's where I want to put my comment. But it doesn't put the cursor anywhere. And then when I press return, it took me back to where the cursor was, which was like somewhere else. Yeah, I don't like this. I don't like this thing. Just the way that it moves around, and I don't know. I'm not sold on it yet. And then watch, as soon as I start typing here, it's going to move it as well. Makes you think you pressed the wrong key. To do. I'm going to put it here. To do. Add all placements to the ref des list if the ref des is empty. Okay, come back to that. So we're doing error handling. No, not that far, this far. So we've got no placements and we've got no placements, but this was not right. Because I copied and pasted it and I didn't do the right thing. Empty ref des list. Okay, I mean, yeah, sure. Create an info. Okay, good. Now we go back to that, and now we've got two errors. And then if we remember from our variant builder command line app where we've got some other error things, we derive error from it. We use this error macro. So let's just copy this for a moment. Okay, something like that, right? No placements. Empty ref des list. It's two words, but the same as one word. It's hyphenated. Right. Type of this is error. Right. So now we need to fix this so that it makes the test pass. No placement. Oh, my indentation level was no good then. It's not no placements here, it's 2F text list. Right, so now we've got some error handling here. Oh, pass or fail. Pass or fail. I'm going to go compilation fail. Right, so we've got a dependency problem. Because now this error is not just an optional dependency, which means we can take it out of this. Refresh. Haha. Wait, no, I did the wrong thing. Damn it. But at least that built. I mean, that was good. Right, tests. Binary operation equals cannot be expected this. Oh gosh, no. Processing error must. Okay. Okay. No. Whew. I thought we were going to be down the rabbit hole that we were the other day with the must implement partial EQ on that list of vectors. But I think we're okay. Yeah. Yeah, this is a test only attribute. At least I don't think we need to compare errors outside of test land. So let's see if that assumption is true. Okay, cool. Then we get, oh, it passes. Look at that. And we're going to build the variant builder tool. We're going to run it and it's fine. And then we're going to run. Let's unpin this now. Get rid of it. We want to run all the tests for the variant builder tool, which now actually uses the real implementation, finally, of the assembly builder. Here we go. And it should still pass. It does. Yes. Yes. But we're not doing anything with the result yet. But it did stuff. That's good, isn't it? Let's have a look. It's just so much. I forgot what we're even doing. So we're processing a thing. And this basically gives you a list of the variant placements. So what our tool was trying to do was give you a list of placements that match the variants. Let's just make it print out a total of how many placements there were in the assembly variant. That seems reasonable. Right. Yeah, why not? Okay. And we're going to say and predicate stir contains and then technically there was a matching process that happened. So let's say matched. Oh, no. And there was supposed to be two in it. Two parts. Placements. No, because we're actually doing part mapping. Parts. Right. So if we say println matched part, and then the result no, these are actually placements here. Oops. I went too far. Did you placements? The other bit happens later. And if you remember, there were 3 original placements. We said we want these specific ones, and they must appear in the list of placements in order for this match 2 placement things to work. Yeah. Okay. And the crowd goes wild. Yeah. Passing tests, dopamine levels, and all this. It's great. It's great. Everything's happy. Right. It's 11:45 now. I think we've done quite a lot of refactoring and made much progress. And I need a break, get some lunch, and all this kind of thing. So we're going to call time on today's progress. But we're going to do a commit first and push up the results. But in order to do a commit, we've got to do a review. So, tell you what, this live stream malarkey keeps you honest, doesn't it? Look at this. Keeps you honest. Right, okay. So we made some things public. I mean, what do we do? What did we do? What was the main thing we did? We did some error handling. We got rid of some lifetimes. We did all that. That wasn't the main thing that we did, though. What's the main thing we did? We made it. We renamed some things. We used our actual ones, which honestly we should have done earlier. I'd forgotten I wrote them. This is the problem with not doing a vertical slice straight away. Because I started on like some more abstract topic rather than starting on like an entry point to an application. If you do a vertical slice, you end up going, I'm writing the command line app, and then I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do this. And things end up in the right place straight away when you do that. If you do what I did and start with something that isn't even being used by anything, you don't link them up. So this is a good example of why it's a good idea to do a vertical slice. However, that being said, my mind wasn't in the right place in order for me to write this command line tool before I even thought about sort of like the domain side of things, which is why I chose to do the domain side of things first. But because I did that, it has this problem with things not matching up and me forgetting about what I'd already done. Yeah. Software development. All right. Okie diddly dokey. So we extracted this to a method, which is fine. And then, I mean, this is sort of what we did here. Yeah. So let's go use the assembly variant processor to match the variant placements. That's kind of what we did. And there was some other renaming and stuff that happened as part of it. Okay, so that's what we did. So everything else should be related to that, to this commit. Rename some stuff, and okay, so there's some other stuff we did. Minor refactorings. Okay, minor. Okay, let's say naming improvements. Yeah. Okay, so fine. And then assembly variant empty variant refs list. This will find improve error handling. Improve assembly variant row. Error handling. Arguably that could have been a separate commit. I don't have the desire to pull that out right now. And then this other thing we did, we changed it to not use lifetimes for this, but I'm not sure whether we need to say that in our commit message. It's just, you know, sort of a byproduct of what we did. It does look a lot cleaner without all the lifetimes in there. The lifetimes do add a lot of noise to the Rust stuff. They're very important when you're dealing with situations where you care about lifetimes, however. So our cargo file, this error is now used in more than one place. That's fine. Everything's good. We've done a commit. Great. Let's push that. And it's going to show us another to do. Yeah. Which is the one about building the assembly variant from the args using the placements, which we'll do that tomorrow. Wait. Maybe not tomorrow. Because it's Saturday tomorrow, I think. I think we're Friday today. But anyway, on the next stream, we'll do it. Okay, push. Okay. Right, that's it. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, give us a like. What you say to YouTuber. Give us a like. Don't forget to subscribe so that you can see what happens in the next one. And just remember, it's only software. How hard can it be? We'll find out on the next one.